everyone's back. The baseball diehards, the football diehards, and I can't believe we turned the calendar to February already. I really can't.
I know. I have to actually turn my calendar. It's sitting up there on the wall there. It's like,
it still says January. You got to bring that one.
Yep. So it's great. By the way, folks, don't worry. Scott Jensen will be here to be the more prepared half of this podcast than me. He's just taking a little longer to get into baseball because he's still doing football podcasts, still doing the DFS football podcast every Friday. So we're getting him going here on February 15th. So perfect. I will have a guest host to be named later next Sunday. Excited about that. Fred Zinke and I are going on Tuesday. You got James Anderson, who's been going all season. He doesn't stop. Neither does Eric Halterman. Wednesday and Thursday, those guys. And then Clay and Todd are back on Fridays. We've got the band back together. We are excited about that. It is this time of year. We're going to jump right into the news that happened over the weekend before we do the new faces, new places thing over over in the American League. But first of all, Paul, I'm so excited. Eugenio Suarez is a Red.
He's back.
Gino is back, baby.
What a fit. Great spot for him, and I'm sure there was at least, or maybe I don't want to project my feeling onto others. I had a brief moment of panic forgetting that Sal Stewart will be fine over there at first. This doesn't influence him because I know when Lux was traded out, the Sal Stewart heads, of which I'm not one. I don't want to have stolen valor. I'm kind of late to the party, but I do know that they were super excited that he was going to get a role. And then when this happened, I was like, wait a minute, does that bop him? But no, he just Suarez is just going to be DH. Stewart can still play first, and then Cabrisi over at third. And this team is coming along. I really like your Reds. I know, the trials and tribulations of dealing with them and maybe some unmet expectations, but they rallied last year, made a playoff spot. I think they're moving in the right direction. And if this talent that they have in-house can really take a step forward, somebody like a Matt McClain comes around, the aforementioned Sal Stewart, more out of Ellie and Noelve, plus the pitching studs, they could be something big. I like the Suarez pickup, get that veteran right in the middle of the lineup, the only guy over 30, because I think Friedel is actually 30. And now you're starting to put together a really full team here. I like it in Cincy.
Yeah, my fear is that Stewart does miss out because they don't want Steer to play left field, so they play him at first base, and then you've got
then it will hit him.
Yeah. So I think I downgraded by 5%. Steer, Stewart, Will Benson. Who else did I? Basically everybody. JJ Bleday a little
Benson's
bit as well.
in deep trouble with Bleday there, right?
Yeah,
aren't they the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other? Not exact same game, but both lefties with major flaws that I don't know how you put both on the roster there with Benson and Bleday. Right. But I guess.
I'm sorry. Also, don't forget they've got Dane Myers, who they acquired, who I think is but he's like
he's Bleday's platoon, I think. I think he should be platooning with whoever wins out of Bleday and Benson. I shouldn't just say it's Bleday, but I favor Bleday personally. Yeah. But I guess you're right. This does hurt Stewart more than I thought. So sorry, folks. You should panic a little bit because I think it will ding him. You're right about Steer. I missed him. I was looking at roster resource and I was like, oh, he's safe. But then I saw Steer on the bench, and I agree with you. I like the wishful thinking by Jason Martinez over at roster resource, but I think it's just that right now, wishful thinking. I think Steer's going to have that job unless Stewart completely pushes him out.
Yeah, it's just really, can he play? Is his shoulder good enough to play left field? Can he
exactly?
I think that's really the question here, because then that kind of sets the room on there. Or do you want? But it also makes them very right-handed. That's the other thing I'm a little concerned about there. Stewart's righty, Hayes is righty, Gino's righty, Steer is righty, Noelve Marte is righty, Matt McClain is right-handed.
It's everyone but Friedel, Ellie, and then Bleday part of the time, and
Benson. Maybe,
one of those two. So that's tough.
Exactly. So I think there'll be some less there. There's a non-zero chance, by the way, Marte loses out a little bit in this as well.
I could see that too. Yes. I don't think he's completely out of the woods, perfectly proven or anything yet either. So I guess maybe it is kind of one of the same old stories of the last few years. You're excited about the Reds, but you have to be careful because of the playing time. I think we've run into this the last couple years here with getting excited about all their guys, and then maybe a few too many, because the guy who doesn't have as much fantasy juice but is guaranteed a spot is Hayes, right? Because he's a great third baseman and he's going to help the pitching at the very least. And if he can hit anything, it's gravy for y'all. So he blocks off that one spot where Suarez can go and free up this logjam. But I think you're right about Steer's arm too, shoulder. So keep close tabs on that and be careful with a lot of those Cincy players now outside of your your Ellie, Suarez, and Stevenson, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And Hayes could lose out, but they did. The Reds did put all this emphasis on defense, so I think they'll probably keep with that. And Hayes has got like 4 more years on his contract.
Right. I think they want to give him a real honest try here this year and see what he can do. And I hope he can. I've always loved him. Brian Hayes, he's never been able to hit. I know a park doesn't make you a hitter. You still have to put the ball in contact and do the things to take advantage of the park. But a few extra gusts of wind, as Ron Chandler likes to say, that's all we need out of Hayes, I think, really, to be worthwhile. He had 15 a few years ago, 15 and 10. If he can be a double-double with like a 260 average, I think that's his true talent, but we have not seen that the last 2 years at all from him.
Right, exactly. Quickly, we're going to hit Seattle later, but I do want to mention the fact that, Seattle wanted to try to re-sign Suarez. So did Pittsburgh wanted to sign him too. They're in on it there. Seattle does not have a third baseman right now.
No,
it's Ben Williamson. Colt Emerson, maybe. Colt Emerson is the interesting option here.
That's who you should be looking at. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's worth noting a little bit. And it's really committing to Cole Young playing second base.
Yeah.
Everything that kind of locks that in a little bit there. Not much left on the market. We'll hit that. One of the guys that was on the market is no longer on the market now is Luis Arias. He is now a San Francisco Giant.
We got robbed. We needed him in Colorado. There was a Fangraphs article written on it. Justin and I were talking about it randomly on the pod. It just would have fit so well. The one time I really wanted the Rockies to sign a crusty veteran, because they usually do it to block off some prospect I like.
Of course.
But I think this is the time that it would have been so perfect. They've actually signed some interesting, I don't even want to say crusty veterans because they're still on the right side of 30, but they've signed some interesting also-rans there in Colorado. But San Francisco does it. It is still compelling for a rise because it is a big stadium that I think he can still play his game in. It's just that since Colorado is the best place for him with that spacious outfield to just dump single after single after single there would have been amazing. But again, plenty of space in San Francisco for him to do it. He is who he is. Justin and I always disagree on this, but I think he's somebody you need to go into a draft planning to take, meaning you're gonna build a really strong power base and you're gonna let him kind of be a batting average fill for you. But he's such a one category guy that I'd never land on Luis Arias as a draftee. Interesting spot though. I don't hate the landing spot, and I do think San Francisco now has a pretty competent lineup, 1 to 9. Well, 1 to 8. Patrick Bailey, great player, amazing catcher, but mediocre hitter at best.
Yeah. When Arias hits 292 like he did last year, he doesn't even help. He doesn't have that impact that you really needed either.
Right.
You need him to hit 310, 315.
For a ton of PAs or ABs, as it were.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like getting Chandler Simpson and seeing him get sent down.
That's exactly it. Yeah, because 8 and 11 and 60-60, when you do your category targets of 12s or 15s, even 15s, let's go shallower with it, that ain't making the grade anywhere. That's not what you're getting per roster spot. So you need surplus. He does, and like Jeff just said, on 292, you're not even getting the great surplus batting average value either. So just be careful, folks. And if you're going to take out Arias, at least make a plan or have him in a path that makes sense. I have a really hard time drafting a guy like that on the fly.
Yeah, Giants will be playing him at second base, by the way, too. So
that's
maybe
even
pray
worse
for your pitchers on the Giants
Yep.
also. Because first base is blocked twice over, Devers and Eldridge. So
what stinks about that too is they really have put together an amazing left side with Adames and Chapman.
Yep.
And now they got kind of a black hole there at second base. He's not a very good first baseman, let alone second base.
Right. So and also no more Casey Schmidt. That's the other guy that gets blocked by this one there quite a bit. All right. One other note from the weekend: Jacob Wilson, 7-year, $70 million contract extension with the Athletics. Do we just call him athletics? What do we call him? Just because of all the patents.
I know the no first name, the no patents. They're a mess, man. But you know what's interesting? Under this mess, they're putting some things together that compel me. I found their offense compelling last year. It has now grown as a unit and taken a step forward. Kurtz obviously with the massive breakout, but he almost overshadowed the rest of the guys like Langoliers and Soderstrom and Wilson going crazy. Butler did not pan out. We were big on the Law Dog as a fantasy baseball community, and I think he failed. But the rest of the A's popped, and they popped beautifully. Rooker was excellent again. They bring over another stable veteran in Jeff McNeil, who's kind of like a proto Jacob Wilson, right? Like he was doing Jacob Wilson things before Wilson.